Today, we talk about...
All right, so let me go through this list here. Dude, there's some fucking wacky-ass topics on here. Some of which I super fleshed out, and other ones I just like left one word and I was like, just fucking wrong with this. Some of which we kind of covered already, like Lil Wayne. But I definitely want to spend some more dedicated time on each of these topics. But now I'm debating how I want to like section this with this episode 0. You know, I felt like there was some more to cover with episode 0 that maybe we should cover. Let's see. So we discussed some goals. I know I have additional goals that I wanted to cover. I just can't think of them. And here's the other thing. I don't want to get bogged down with this kind of stuff, which is, again, a part of why this is also a makeshift. I know it's going to expand. I know it's going to grow. I know I'm going to get better and more polished and kind of fine-tune the quality and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, the bigger thing I've learned is that if you bog down with these fucking menial shits, you're never going to get ahead. And I think this is another big problem. And I would urge anyone listening who's a person not from the pure arts world. What I mean by that is you're not purely an artist. You're not purely a model. You're not purely a musician. You're not purely a, those types. I feel like, oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? I feel like for those use types, use guys, for y'all, the aesthetics are a bigger piece for you guys because how else are you going to fucking differentiate yourself? There's so many of you. But I want to take this opportunity to speak to those listening to this that aren't from that ilk, meaning people like me, for example, who have this entire upbringing in the math and sciences and all of a sudden find themselves in the creative realm. And especially as this universe keeps unfolding in these current times of technological advance and social media and internet connectivity expand, it's going to be super important, I think, for people who want their voice heard to really jump in on these platforms. And it's not meant for everyone because, again, this whole, camera comfort thing and being okay with, putting in all this extra fucking ancillary work just to get this out to the world. Not everyone can handle that, especially on a day-to-day basis and on top of whatever else they are doing. So, and especially doing it alone. This is just, I'm already having fucking nightmares. But I am speaking to those of you, doctors, lawyers, world leaders, fucking architects, policemen, people in weird fields, or odds and ends fields who feel like they have a lot to say about whatever, even if it's unrelated to your field, or even if it's related to more of an artistic field, or just related to your field, and you just want to get it out there. Fucking just put it out there, man. Don't worry about the quality and all these other tips and tricks people recommend on all these other YouTube channels that are solely focused on giving you the best tips of how to differentiate yourself. You have to remember at the end of the day, people will find you if you have substance to give them. I can't tell you how many times have you seen a quote shitty video, and even though it's a quote shitty quality video, it's got millions of views, and you yourself have watched it not millions of times, but multiple times because you enjoyed that content, or that content spoke to you, or that content had some kind of substance you could glean from. Top 5 tips of how to do XYZ, and that XYZ was something you were super looking for advice for, and here's 5 fucking tips on it. And even though it's a shitty quote-unquote video, it was very helpful. I want you to remember that more than anything, and that's what I'm trying to do here is remember that it's the content and not the everything else that kind of, allows that to happen. And don't get me wrong, you should push to optimize all of it, but I'm just saying it can be overwhelming if you get too lost in the sauce, as they say. So that's why I just said, listen, bare bones, we're just going to fucking set shit up. Don't fucking play too much with the angles and the alignment and all this shit and figure out this stuff later and just pull it up as you go and just figure it out. And I didn't even have a script when I sat down here. I remember that used to freeze me up forever. I was like, I need to have shit to say. But I think another helpful thing for that is just to sit in front of the camera, just let it record, bitch. And if you're not happy with it, delete, bye. It's and then you can start over, but at least you've cleared the cobwebs. And I think we're doing that a little bit here today, so that's good. Now, I am worried about starting some of these topics because they're really going to lead to so many other topics. And I really do want to see how it turns out with going from where I'm sitting currently to where you are sitting currently watching me say this currently. Meta as fuck. what I mean is I want to process one whole video, go through this whole process once from start to finish, just to see where the kinks are, what needs to be worked out, and then where I struggled, what I can nitpick, and then you guys can help me out with that too. You're like, you gotta really stop doing this, or you could really miss us with that bullshit right there that you just did. Stuff like that will be helpful as well. Just know that I'm only going to be taking some of that advice to heart, not all of it. If it's something constructive that I think I can incorporate positively, I will. If it's something I don't necessarily agree with you on, but respect your opinion on, hopefully you'll respect my opinion to not, take your feedback. But nonetheless, I would appreciate any and all feedback. Let's see. So so I've decided I don't want to do any of these specific topics right now, but I guess maybe we can talk about how, and I think I'm not going to split this one up at all. And I'm probably just going to watch a good chunk of this in the editing, because there's no way I'm going to fucking sit through 2 hours worth of fucking footage myself. And I don't think I'm going to do this live either. There's just too many dangers with going live, and just the way my brain processes things. I don't want things to get away from me or be misconstrued in certain ways. And that's another thing. Other goals. I don't know. I guess another goal is to just be ultimately enlightened. It'd be great, and this is what I was talking about, is, I don't know if I finished this stuff, but let's finish it now. It'd be great if I put out my perspective into the world. You out there all are listening, and hopefully this becomes this big audience, but even with the small audience we have now, if we can learn from each other, and maybe I say something super heinous, or maybe I say something super wrong, just totally out of the ballpark wrong, or something that's interesting but you're not very clear on, for example. All these things are opportunities for feedback and interaction. And I respond to every comment, or at least if you haven't responded to a comment, I do apologize. It's probably because it got lost in the shuffle, because I have started to get way more comments now. So it's definitely much harder to keep up now than it used to be, especially on certain stretches where I'm really in a rut, or if I'm traveling, or if I'm had a super busy day at work and just super burnt out that day, or for the next few days, or I need that weekend just to not talk to anybody and be in introvert mode, sicko mode. Opposite of sicko mode, am I right? Then on top of that, with the channel continuing to grow, I get even more comments, and it builds up, and then there's occasionally a chance I could miss a comment or two. So I apologize if that happens to you, but as of right now, to my knowledge, I've answered essentially every comment I've ever gotten on Instagram and or YouTube. Instagram, I have started to just do little likes, so at least I read it, and at least I acknowledge you as a fucking person. Nothing pisses me off more than reaching out to all these different people who really aren't that much, quote, bigger than me numbers wise. I imagine it's a numbers thing, but it must not be, because a lot of people just don't respond. And I don't know if it's just me. It could be just me, because I'm a fucking weirdo, bro. And I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to the idea that I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not most people's cup of tea. You know how hard of a pill that is to swallow? But I've swallowed it. I'm good like that. I don't prefer it. I want everyone on earth to like me. But I'm happy with understanding that that is literally impossible. But that doesn't mean I don't want it. Getting $1 billion at this point in my life, just very objectively speaking, is nearly impossible. I'm not going to say very impossible. I'm just going to say nearly impossible. But that doesn't mean I still don't want it, right? So, just another example. I was getting to that. Whoops, sorry about that. So how nice would it be if you just had unlimited access to money? You don't even need a fucking $1 billion. Just tell me that I have this magic credit card that's just always has money on it. Or a debit card, whatever, and just anything I want to do in the world, I just do it. How dope would that be? You have a thought in your head of something you want to do, and you just go do it, and you don't have to worry about going back to work a bunch of extra hours so that you can make more money to work towards doing that thing you want to do. It's just no, I want to do something, I want to do it. And obviously this is not a practical goal for everyone to pursue in life, but it's a pipe dream of mine. It's, we all have our daydreams, right? I just want to decide one day I want to go deep sea fishing, and then I want to make some phone calls, and then I just want to arrange it, and then I just want to go. Or I want to go to Iceland, I'm just going to pack a bag and go. I want to go meet up with some friends, but they live somewhere and they're cheap as fuck. So I'm going to spend the money because I have a fuck ton of it and just go, like, go to them to be able to. I did a similar thing, and I remember I went to